A typical day in major cities across the globe, New York, Tokyo, Paris, was abruptly disrupted. The sky turned dark as massive alien ships emerged, blocking out the sun. In New York, office workers gazed in horror at the enormous vessels casting shadows over skyscrapers. In Tokyo, the usually bustling Shibuya crossing fell silent, filled only with the gasps of onlookers. Parisian cafes buzzed with panic as patrons watched the ominous silhouettes against the Eiffel Tower. Panic spread like wildfire. News channels scrambled to cover the unprecedented event, reporters struggling to maintain composure. "What we are witnessing is extraordinary," stammered a CNN anchor, eyes wide with fear. Government leaders worldwide held emergency meetings, their faces grim as they discussed the looming threat. Military forces were put on high alert, jets scrambled, and missile systems primed. Civilians reacted with a mix of fear, confusion, and morbid curiosity. Social media erupted with speculation and fear-mongering. Hashtags like #AlienInvasion and #EndOfTheWorld trended within minutes. Families huddled together, watching the unfolding chaos on their screens, hearts pounding with dread. Then, the first contact. A holographic message from the alien leader, Zolthar, broadcast globally. The figure was imposing, its eyes cold and unyielding. "Humans of Earth," Zolthar intoned, "surrender immediately or face total annihilation." Chaos erupted. People screamed, rioted, and looted. Governments declared states of emergency. Martial law was imposed as humanity faced an existential threat unlike any before. The world held its breath, teetering on the brink of disaster. The alien fleet's power was terrifyingly evident. Sleek, dark ships bristling with unknown weapons moved with precision. Earth's satellites were obliterated in seconds, leaving humanity blind and vulnerable. Major defense installations crumbled under the onslaught. Washington, D.C., London, Beijing, no city was spared. The alien technology was far superior, their weapons cutting through human defenses like a hot knife through butter. Scenes of devastation were everywhere. Skyscrapers toppled, streets burned, and the air was filled with the acrid smell of destruction. In New York, the Statue of Liberty lay shattered in the harbor. In Tokyo, the once vibrant cityscape was now a smoldering ruin. Human resistance, though brave, was futile. Fighter jets were swatted from the sky, missiles detonated harmlessly against alien shields. General Hawk of the U.S. led a desperate defense, coordinating with Admiral Nakamura in Japan and Colonel Ahmed in Egypt. Despite their valiant efforts, their forces were outmatched and overwhelmed. Key characters emerged in this chaos. Dr. Elena Ramirez, a brilliant physicist, worked tirelessly on experimental energy weapons, hoping to find a way to counter the alien technology. Captain Sarah Mitchell, a tough and resourceful special ops leader, spearheaded daring raids against the invaders. Marcus Lee, a hacker with a notorious history of cyber warfare, used his skills to disrupt alien communications. Ahmed, a young mechanic, discovered an innate understanding of the alien technology, proving invaluable in the fight against the invaders. As the invasion progressed, humanity's hope dwindled. But in the face of such overwhelming odds, a spark of resilience remained. The battle for Earth had only just begun. In a hidden underground base, beneath the Rocky Mountains, world leaders and top experts gathered. The air was thick with tension and uncertainty. The conference room, lined with screens displaying real-time footage of the ongoing invasion, was filled with the voices of heads of state, military generals, and leading scientists. The stakes had never been higher. General Hawk, stern and resolute, stood at the forefront. "We must hit them hard and fast," he declared, slamming a fist on the table. "A direct military assault is our best chance." Dr. Elena Ramirez, a calm but determined presence, countered. "A direct assault will only lead to more devastation. Their technology far surpasses ours. We need a strategic approach." Voices rose in heated debate. Some sided with Hawk, believing sheer force was the answer. Others, including Dr. Ramirez, argued for a more nuanced strategy. Amidst the clamor, it became clear that unity was crucial. After days of intense research, Dr. Ramirez and her team made a groundbreaking discovery. Through analyzing captured alien technology and intercepted signals, they found that the alien ship's shields operated on a specific frequency. If disrupted, these shields could be weakened or even disabled. Initial tests in the lab showed promise. A prototype device, designed to emit a disruptive frequency, successfully penetrated the shield of a captured alien drone. The challenge now was scaling this technology for global deployment. Dr. Ramirez presented the findings to the council. "We have a potential solution," she explained, her voice steady despite the enormity of the task ahead. "But deploying this on a global scale is daunting. We need time and resources." General Hawk, though initially skeptical, saw the potential. "If we can disable their shields, we stand a fighting chance," he conceded. "But we need to act quickly." The council devised a multi-pronged plan to counter the alien invasion. It was ambitious, risky, and the best shot. Small, elite teams would infiltrate key alien ships to plant disruptive devices. These devices, based on Dr. Ramirez's research, would weaken the shields from within. Captain Sarah Mitchell, with her expertise in special operations, was put in charge of these missions. On the ground, resistance fighters would employ guerrilla tactics to harass and slow down alien ground forces. Utilizing urban and rural environments to their advantage, they would engage in hit-and-run attacks, set traps, and create diversions to stretch the alien forces thin. Marcus Lee, the skilled hacker, would lead cyber warfare efforts. His team would disrupt alien communications, gather intelligence, and manipulate alien technology to create confusion and chaos within the enemy ranks. Dr. Ramirez's energy weapon, once refined and scaled up, would be deployed to disrupt the alien fleet's command network. Ahmed, the young mechanic with an innate understanding of alien technology, would assist Dr. Ramirez in making the necessary technical adjustments to ensure the weapon's effectiveness. As the plan took shape, a sense of cautious optimism spread through the council. They knew the risks were immense, but so were the stakes. Captain Mitchell gathered her team, preparing them for the dangerous missions ahead. Marcus Lee set up his cyber command center, ready to launch digital attacks against the invaders. Dr. Ramirez and Ahmed worked tirelessly, refining the energy weapon and coordinating with resistance cells worldwide. The battle strategy was set. Humanity's hope now lay in the hands of these brave individuals and their willingness to fight against overwhelming odds. The fight for Earth was far from over, but a glimmer of hope had begun to shine in the darkness. Captain Sarah Mitchell and her elite team moved with precision through the dark, labyrinthine corridors of the alien mothership. Clad in specialized stealth suits that camouflaged them against the alien environment, they communicated through silent gestures, their faces set with grim determination. Their mission was simple but deadly: plant disruptive devices within the ship to weaken its shields. The team encountered their first hurdle when an unexpected patrol of alien drones appeared. Using her quick reflexes, Mitchell signaled her team to take cover. Marcus Lee, who had accompanied them to handle any tech-related obstacles, quickly hacked into the ship's network, rerouting the drone's path. The team continued, each member hyper-aware of the high stakes. Reaching the central core, they planted the first device. A tense moment of silence followed as they watched the device integrate with the alien technology. Suddenly, alarms blared. They had been discovered. "Move!" Mitchell shouted, leading the team in a desperate race back to their extraction point. One team member, Private Jenkins, lagged behind, trying to fend off pursuing drones. The others turned to help, but a sudden explosion engulfed Jenkins, the shockwave knocking them off their feet. The loss was a harsh reminder of the mission's perilous nature. With heavy hearts, they completed the mission and returned to base, knowing Jenkins' sacrifice had not been in vain. Meanwhile, on the ground, human resistance fighters waged a fierce guerrilla war against the alien invaders. In urban jungles and rural expanses, they used hit-and-run tactics to harass and slow down the alien ground forces. Improvised weapons, from Molotov cocktails to homemade explosives, became the tools of their defiance. In Paris, a group of young resistance fighters led by a former schoolteacher, Marie Duval, turned the catacombs beneath the city into a labyrinthine trap. They lured alien patrols into the tunnels, where they detonated explosives, collapsing sections and burying the invaders. In the forests of Brazil, guerrilla fighters, guided by indigenous knowledge of the terrain, ambushed alien convoys. They set traps, using the dense foliage for cover, and launched sudden, devastating attacks before melting back into the jungle. One fighter, an ex-soldier named Luis, became a local legend for his bravery and cunning, inspiring others to join the resistance. These scenes of courage and sacrifice were mirrored around the world. In every conflict, there were personal stories of loss and resilience. Families torn apart, friends lost, but each act of defiance brought humanity one step closer to victory. Back in the secret underground base, Dr. Elena Ramirez and Ahmed worked tirelessly on perfecting the energy weapon. The breakthrough came late one night. After countless hours of trial and error, they successfully calibrated the weapon to disrupt the alien command network without causing collateral damage to Earth's infrastructure. "It's ready," Dr. Ramirez announced, her voice filled with a mix of exhaustion and triumph. Ahmed, grinning despite his fatigue, ran a final test in a controlled environment. The weapon worked flawlessly, emitting a pulse that instantly disabled a captured alien drone. With the weapon ready, the next step was deployment. Coordinated with the infiltration teams and guerrilla fighters, the energy weapon was used in a series of strategic strikes. The first major test came during an assault on a critical alien command center in what was left of London. As the weapon was activated, a pulse wave radiated outward, causing chaos among the alien forces. Their command network was disrupted, communications failed, and the once coordinated invaders were thrown into disarray. Human forces seized the moment, launching a coordinated assault that crippled the alien presence in the area. Across the globe, similar scenes played out. The energy weapon's successful deployment gave humanity a fighting chance. Each strike brought new hope, as the seemingly invincible alien fleet began to falter. Confusion and disruption spread through the ranks of the invaders, and the tide of the battle slowly began to turn. The successes fueled the determination of every human fighter. With every mission, every act of defiance, and every scientific breakthrough, humanity clawed its way back from the brink of extinction. The fight was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion began, victory seemed within reach. The stage was set for the final confrontation that would decide the fate of Earth. The first major victory came with the downing of an alien mothership. It was a moment of triumph that electrified the human resistance. As the massive vessel plummeted from the sky, trailing smoke and fire, cheers erupted from those on the ground. Scenes of celebration spread across the globe as news of the victory traveled swiftly. People emerged from shelters, hugging strangers and crying tears of relief and joy. For the first time since the invasion began, hope flickered in the hearts of humanity. Word of the victory galvanized more people to join the resistance. Volunteers flooded into makeshift recruitment centers, eager to contribute to the fight. The tide was turning, and with renewed morale, the resistance grew stronger and more determined. But the victory was met with brutal retaliation. The aliens launched a fierce counterattack, targeting key human resistance hubs with unrelenting ferocity. Entire cities were razed, and countless lives were lost. The destruction was staggering, and scenes of devastation played out across the globe. In the aftermath, emotional scenes unfolded. Families were torn apart, and friends were lost. Yet, amidst the grief, a steely determination emerged. Humans regrouped, tending to the wounded and reinforcing their defenses. They refused to be broken. Dr. Ramirez stood before a gathering of resistance fighters, her voice unwavering. "We have faced the unimaginable, and we have endured. Our spirit is unbreakable. We fight not just for survival, but for our future. For our loved ones. For Earth." Her words ignited a fire within those gathered, their resolve solidified. Captain Mitchell, Marcus Lee, and Ahmed led the charge on multiple fronts. Scenes of personal sacrifice and heroism were commonplace. Fighters risked their lives to protect others, their bravery inspiring those around them. The human spirit shone brightly, pushing back against the alien retaliation with renewed vigor. The climactic showdown loomed as humanity prepared for a coordinated assault on the alien flagship. The plan was daring and fraught with risk. Captain Mitchell led the infiltration team, determined to plant the last explosive device within the heart of the enemy vessel. Meanwhile, Marcus Lee orchestrated a cyber attack, aiming to disable the alien defenses. The battle was intense, a high-stakes dance of strategy and courage. Mitchell's team fought their way through the flagship's corridors, facing relentless alien soldiers. Explosions rocked the ship as they planted the device. Lee's cyber attack hit its mark, causing the alien systems to falter. With a final, desperate push, Mitchell planted the last explosive. "Get out now!" she shouted as the countdown began. They raced for their extraction point, escaping just as the device detonated. The flagship erupted in a colossal explosion, a blinding flash followed by a shockwave that rippled through the sky. The alien fleet, now leaderless and in disarray, began to retreat. Across the world, the remaining alien ships were captured or destroyed. Scenes of jubilation and relief spread as people emerged from shelters to celebrate their hard-fought victory. In the aftermath, humanity reflected on the cost of victory. Cities lay in ruins, and countless lives had been lost. Scenes of rebuilding were everywhere, as survivors worked together to restore their homes. Monuments were erected to honor the fallen, their sacrifices never to be forgotten. The protagonists reunited, their shared experience forging an unbreakable bond. They stood together, looking out over a world forever changed, yet filled with hope. Humanity had faced the brink of extinction and emerged stronger, more united than ever before.